Is Dead Space the best video game ever? Well, let's take a look. Based on 5 categories, which are story, gameplay, atmosphere, creativity, and entertainment, I'm going to rank each of those factors on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, and we're going to determine whether or not Dead Space is in fact the best game ever. This video is going to contain spoilers, so if you haven't played Dead Space, this is your warning. And we're gonna start with the story. Basically, a massive deep space mining ship called the Ishimara goes radio silence after unearthing a strange artifact on a distant planet. You play as engineer Isaac Clarke, and you are sent to repair the ship, find any survivors, and look for your girlfriend/wife. But once you get there, you discover that the entire ship is a bloodbath, and the crew has been slaughtered, and there's an alien infection going around on the ship. So the entire story is basically figuring out what happened here, how do I fix it, and how do I leave. The alien artifact that the Ishimara has uncovered from the planet below is called the Marker, and that's basically responsible for everything. That's the reason all these people have turned into necromorphs. And the idea is, if you bring the Marker back down to the planet, the hive mind of the necromorphs is gonna leave you the fuck alone. Eventually you go looking for your wife Nicole, or your girlfriend, whatever, and you discover that she's not what she seems. In fact, she is an illusion or a hallucination from the Marker to get you to do what it wants. And yeah, that's basically the whole story. It's nothing crazy, but it's a horror game, so you're playing it to be scared, I suppose. But because it's pretty average, I'm gonna give the story a 5 out of 10. Now next up, we get the gameplay. Now I have never played a horror game before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect from the game, but there were some components that actually I found very surprising and to be a lot of fun. So for example, there were some parts where you get to fly around in 0G. When you go into the vacuum and you're walking around and it's really silent, that's really creepy as fuck, and I like doing that too. Fighting the aliens and the monsters was definitely my favorite part, because it's gory as fuck. The weapons are a lot of fun to use. There's, I think, 6 of them. Each of them has their own, like, special ability. They all do different things. But my favorite was the chainsaw. It shoots, like, this floating blade in front of you, and it's really good at holding the aliens at bay. It holds them back. That one was a lot of fun to use. So the weapons are great. What I didn't like about the gameplay was the maneuverability that you have with Isaac when you're walking around. There were a lot of times where I felt he should be moving faster and not just like doing this slight little jog. Like I was trying to run away from some of the aliens at some points, but I couldn't. Like you're just doing this walk. Like these things are sprinting at you and you can't dodge, you can't really run away. I also found myself getting stuck a few times. Like if there's an alien in front of you, there's no way to get by. Like you basically just have to die. Like there's no other way, or somehow glitch around it. Like honestly, the maneuverability for me was actually a big part of the game that I didn't like, just because there wasn't much of it. But if we did have some more maneuverability, I think it would have been a lot better. And it is a horror game, so you're playing it to be scared, and I definitely was scared on multiple occasions. There were a few times where I actually jumped, and I didn't want to continue to look around the corner because I wasn't sure what was going to be there. So it is scary. It does fulfill its purpose as a horror game. So I'm going to give the gameplay a 6 out of 10. Now we're going to take a look at atmosphere. And when I say atmosphere, I mean, how does the game sound? How does the game look? And how does it feel to play this game? Like, how immersed am I in this world that they've created? And I gotta say, it's damn good. From the very second that you're thrown into this game, everything looks amazing. It looks creepy. It's like stingy and gross and creepy. There's these big like tentacle things everywhere. The aliens look disgusting. The sounds that they make is great. They all have these different creepy groans. It really feels like we're actually in the ship. I was very invested with how everything looked and sound. The music is creepy. There's a lot of scary-ass violin music that comes out of nowhere. There's a couple boss battles. They look absolutely horrendous. When you're down on the planet, everything has like this like evil red brown vibe. The only thing I don't really necessarily like about this game is how dark everything is, and I know it's a horror game and it's supposed to be dark and it's supposed to be scary, but it kind of just takes away some of the detail. Like, I want to be able to see and look at everything for what it is, because it looks really great, but sometimes it gets a little dark and you can't see much, so that's my only nitpick. But the atmosphere is so good. I love the music, I love the way how everything looks, and it really feels like we're in the ship, so I'm going to give the atmosphere a 9 out of 10. For creativity, I'm not talking about how creative is the game, I'm talking how creative can me, the player, be while playing the game. And it's not very creative for this game because it's kind of this linear path that the game wants you to follow, so there's not really a whole lot of extra explorations that you can do or missions. There are some. For the most part, you play the game how it wants you to play the game. You get 6 different weapons you can use. They're fun to use, but they don't really have much ammo unless you buy it or you find like a stash somewhere. I found myself just using whatever weapon had ammo at the time, so I didn't really have much of a choice, to be honest. But if you do have the ammo, like, feel free to use whatever gun you want, honestly. They're all pretty good to use. They all have special abilities. There are some different suits you can unlock, so you can customize the way you look. There's like a skill tree for the weapons, but that's about it, honestly. Like, there's not really a whole lot of creativity going on here. It's a story-based horror game, and it's not really meant to be creative. You kind of just kill aliens with the weapons that you have. You can't be that creative with this game, but there is a little bit there, so I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. And lastly, how entertaining is the game? To a lot of people, this is probably the most important one, because really that's all video games are. If it entertains you, it entertains you, and that's all you need to know. Like, that's the most important part. If you're having fun playing a game, play the game. I gotta say though, I was really entertained with this game. The horror is definitely what you want this game for. The way it looks is good. The combat is pretty fun. The only thing that would make it more entertaining is if I think there was some sort of other creative aspect. I don't know what that would be. The story, for what it is, I couldn't really ask for more, honestly. Like, I'm playing this game for the horror and the combat, I guess. Like, whatever. It's a good game. I'd recommend it. It's a good 10 to 12 hours of something to do. So entertainment is going to get a 7 out of 10. Overall, once we add up everything, Dead Space is going to get a total score of 6 out of 10. Like I said before, I think this is a pretty good game. I would recommend playing it. It's a good purchase. It's scary. It's fun. It does have its issues, but I would still recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you thought of Dead Space. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.